All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Life Between the Six with Cody Cropper, your host, Brandon. And Cody, we are back, MLS Week 20 recap, and we've got another guest, don't we?
We do, yes. Mikey Ambrose, a former U.S. youth national teammate of mine and, MLS veteran. Welcome, Mikey.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be on here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited. There's a lot going on, but let's set the stage. Youth national teammates. The last time we had a youth national teammate on, Will Trapp, there's some off-air stories going on. So, Mikey, shed some light on young, awkward Cody.
Oh, gosh.
Man, yeah, awkward is definitely the word to describe him in his younger years.
Yes.
He was always a good guy, but goalies are always a little bit different, a little bit strange. But we had some good times. I think we were roommates back in residency.
We were. Were you with Earl and John Kempen? You were in that room?
Was it not me, you, and OC in one room for a little bit?
No, it was OC, myself, and Carlos.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Carlos was never in there, though, ever.
No, Carlos was never in there, no.
Yeah.
But no, the one story that I clearly remember from our time at residency was the movie theater. Do you remember that?
The movie theater.
When we all snuck into the movie theater and got arrested.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I forgot.
You got arrested?
Yeah. Do you remember that? We paid for one ticket, and 8 of us tried to sneak into the movie theater.
Was that my idea? I think it was probably.
It was you and OC. I think it was you or OC. But Kempen bought the ticket and then didn't check his shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before he opened the door, and the security guard was standing right there.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. He was supposed to check the whole surroundings before we walked in, and then we walked straight into the guy right there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We scattered too. We all went into different movie theaters, and they slowly just came in there and picked us out one by one.
Jeez, yeah, you goofballs.
I thought I was safe too. I thought I was safe in my movie.
Yeah.
I was just gonna enjoy the movie I was in, but it did not work out that way.
No, it did not.
That's so funny. What was your favorite international trip or tournament, Mikey?
Back then, I would say probably Brazil. I really liked going to Rio. That was fun.
Was that for the Nike friendlies?
No, that was for just random friendlies. We played Brazil, we played Argentina, we played Uruguay. That was a good trip, and that was a fun one. That was my first time going to Rio. That was a blast.
Any big names popped out of there from South America that you played against?
Neymar was on that team.
Okay,
pretty decent name. I'm blanking on his name. The guy Coutinho was on there. Yeah, Coutinho.
Yeah, I remember that trip.
Yeah, Coutinho, Neymar, and then I think there was one other big guy back then, but he didn't actually pan out. It was the lefty. You remember that guy?
Kennedy?
Yeah.
He played at Chelsea, and he's on loan forever. I watched him play in the Vegas Stadium last summer. He was still on the books.
Yeah.
Oh man, fun times.
That Brazilian team was nasty.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah,
they were good. And then you look at some of the guys that came off the Uruguayan team too. They were pretty good. I can't tell you any names, but I remember at the time we were like, "Yo, these guys are playing in Europe." We were still in high school and in residency.
Yeah. I remember. I remember when we played that one game and Coutinho chipped the ball, he received it, flicked it over Zach Harreld's head, and that replay got played on all kinds of ESPN top whatever plays, and we were just a couple of high school kids, not even knowing what we were doing out there.
No, we had no idea. We had no idea. That's for sure.
Fun times though, fun times.
It was.
Well, good stuff. We'll definitely dive more into that later. But gentlemen, we want to talk about it. Toronto FC part ways with Bob Bradley. The unsackable has been sacked. Look, if we put it in a little bit of perspective here, conference standings, Toronto in 14th, the Eastern Conference out of 15th. Only Miami, soon to be bolstered by Messi, is worse than them. And then if you look at the overall stats, as far as like the top to bottom table, they are in 20th or 25th or whatever in the league. So it is pretty bad for them. But Cody, I feel like you've asked guests for like the last month running. Hey, what do you think? Is he going to get sacked? Here's what I didn't know. He was the head coach and sporting director. He had to sack himself, and then they sacked him as sporting director.
I actually didn't know that either. I wonder. So, I mean, obviously the owner,
the GM,
would make that GM maybe. Okay, GM. I wonder who the GM is there. But I mean, what a decision to, to pull the plug on not only your sporting director but your head coach all at the same time.
Well, and his assistant coach, Mike Sorber, was also the technical director. So they were in deep there.
Oof. You want to talk about, and Mikey, we've had this conversation of like the good old boys club in US soccer and in MLS, where it's coach after coach, as, Josh Wolf plays his son for Austin, or, whatever it might be, the whole Reyna family. There's a little bit of like, in this situation, it's a little different, but like the nepotism factor of, these guys just look after each other and give each other jobs that, I mean, yeah, okay, Bob Bradley deserves to be the head coach, but at the same time be the sporting director and then give his assistant coach the technical director job too. So it's like, good Lord, it's buddy kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you see that all across MLS. People, it's just boys taking care of their boys.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It works out sometimes, but then other times it's a disaster, like what happened there.
Yeah,
and
I would agree.
I think Toronto has just been in an interesting last few years. I mean, I feel like they were flying, and then they kind of changed up their whole philosophy, started going more youth players, trying to grow their homegrowns. And then they just randomly started splashing more money, and they just haven't really got the combo right for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it also doesn't help when you have that Bernadeschi and Signe bust up. That comes together. All of that obviously plays a factor in their off-field issues that have carried to their on-field performances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And it's hard to get the combo right of creating a successful roster in this league. You can't, there's no, if you look at LAFC's probably done it the best recently, but it's hard to get that formula right. And you have to, when you bring in those big names, they have to be like willing to like help the younger guys, coach the younger guys. They have to be willing to put in the work, to grind, You can't have these DPs that don't want to put that effort in, or else it's going to be a disaster,
Right. And you've seen that throughout the last 5 to 10 years where clubs have gone out and signed a DP, and you could, currently look at, I don't know, you could take Shaqiri, for example. Shaqiri hasn't been pulling 40 per. We figured this out on a previous podcast. Shaqiri makes 40% of Chicago's salary, like their salary payouts. He does not pull 40% of everything that they're paying out. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't perform that well. So for me, that's an underperforming DP. Whereas you look at Ahane Mukhtar, this guy's been one of the best players in the league for the last 3 years, and is arguably going to be the MVP again this year.
Yeah, very true.
So you have DPs that pull their weight, and you have DPs that don't pull their weight, and it's the clubs that go out and and do their homework and have these conversations, and put not only put the right DP on the field, but put the right supporting cast around them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think Toronto has done that in the
Yeah.
past 2 to 3 years.
And it's also the relationship between the coach, the club, and the DPs. Like you have to get that combo right too, to where
I would agree.
the players respect the coach enough to really put that effort in. Yeah. And if you don't have that, if the club didn't do the right research on the coach and the DP's relationship, then it's not going to work, you know?
Right. And I think that is actually a very good point, because I'm going to be interested to see how, we talked about Lionel Messi on the last episode, and the rumor is Tata Martino is going to be the head coach there. Now, I don't know if they have a relationship or not, but I will be interested to see how that combo pairs together, because obviously Tata is Mexican. If correct me if I'm wrong. Do either of you know that?
He's Argentinian.
Oh, he is Argentinian. Okay, I did not. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then obviously they're going to be, I would assume, very, very good together.
So yeah,
I know sort of relationship.
Tata coached me for 3 years, so I know him really well. And his whole supporting staff, they've all been together everywhere Tata goes. He takes his assistant coach, his two strength coaches, and then he takes his other assistant coach that's kind of like the personal relations guy. Yep. And that whole combo is amazing. And they're I think if they do end up doing the Miami gig, which I think is very strong possibility, the personal relation guy is like best friends with Messi. So the relationship is very strong there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, I would assume that, again, the club has done that homework and are probably exploring Tata because they know that it would be a successful partnership.
Yeah.
And then you have to assume that they're going out and they're signing Sergio Busquets and rumored to be signing Jordi Alba because Messi wants those guys there, and they're guys that are going to get along with Tata and his staff. And it's going to change the culture of that club.
Yeah. And I think it's obviously the Messi thing is absolutely incredible. But I think bringing Tata in is also just as incredible, because he's proven in this league that he, one, can win, but two, also can deal with big personality DPs, and he can get everybody to buy in and get everybody on the same page, because he commands that respect of the locker room.
Right. And you don't, and I'm assuming, based on your experiences in MLS, you've experienced coaches that do not demand that respect, or they do it and they do it in the wrong manner. Now, I know for a fact Tata's going to get the best out of Joseph Martinez too, because they obviously have a previous relationship at Atlanta. And I think that seeing that, getting Joseph back to his best, is what the league needs too.
For sure. Yeah. Under Tata, Joseph was amazing, and I think he still has that animal like mentality, He just needs a coach that's going to bring that out of him more and get him to buy into the team and everything. And Tata's proven that he's been able to do that with him, and they have a great respect for each other. So I think Miami's going to be quite the force going forward if they bring Tata in and they're able to really create that environment there.
For sure. I would completely agree with you. So I it's going to be interesting either way. Well, now back, I guess we went down a little rabbit hole there.
Yeah. Look, Messi's always going to pull the strings on anything with that big of a deal. But this all came off of essentially, Bob Bradley being sacked, which is the surprise here is that big manager, big players was not able to hold it together at the end of the day. I don't know anyone outside of an Italian coach is going to be able to do it with those two at loggerheads. You're going to have to ship one of them out if it's just really as bad as they say. Bob had an okay time at Toronto. It was no LAFC ride for him, and his successor is essentially the U17's assistant, Dunfield. And so, he's been in the game forever as well.
Interim.
Yes. Did I say that? I said replacement, didn't I?
You said a replacement. Yeah,
sorry. Terry Dunfield has been appointed interim head coach as he was head coach of the club's U17 academy team. So they got to figure it out. At Opta Jack had tweeted that 19 Toronto FC's collected an MLS low 19 points since last September. Win 3, draw 10, lose 12, 6 fewer than any other team in that time. Issues. So
that's tough.
We'll see if they get a new manager bounce because they are gonna need it.
There were talks here at Orange County today, like who could be the replacement. And I threw out Mourinho, and everybody was like, "Yeah, that would be great. That would be great." But no chance. I just jokingly threw out Mourinho, and I was like, "Yeah, Jose, put him in there. Get his name in the hat." No chance. Did you ever see this guy coaching in MLS?
No chance. Zero chance. No.
U.S. men's national team before MLS, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
All right, well, let's go ahead and look at the league as it stands. Eastern Conference, Cincy top of the table, 43 points in first place. New England second on 36. Nashville third on 35. Philly fourth on 34 points. Bottom of the heap, you got New York in 13th on 21 points, and Toronto 14th on 19 points, and Miami on 15 points in 15th. On the Western Conference, St. Louis City SC first with only 32 points. LAFC second with 32 points. Seattle third with 29. Houston fourth with 27. Bottom there, Minnesota on a bit of a drop. They're down to 12th on 12th on 21 points. LA Galaxy 13th, 15th points in 14th place. Colorado on 14 points. Sorry, that was a little confusing when 12th was on 21, 13 was on 15, 14 was on 14. Anyways, gentlemen, the first game we want to kick it off with LAFC 2, Vancouver 3. LAFC losing at home in this one. Bouanga scoring again, Carlos Vela scoring, Veselinovic in the second minute, White in the 23rd, and Gald in the 63rd. Cody, you're the Vancouver insider, obviously having spent last season there. Are you a little bit surprised? I think, didn't we have midweek games again last week? I mean, they're just coming in thick and fast right now.
Yeah, they are. Obviously, that's because of all the added competitions. Obviously the league stops here in 1 to 2 weeks, I believe, for the Leagues Cup with Liga MX. So, the MLS schedule right now is chaotic, and based on all the conversations I'm having with current and former professionals, it's chaos. But that said, I mean, Vancouver are hot, and since being knocked out of the Champions League, LAFC just are not the same team. Bouanga is not firing on all cylinders. I think he got his first goal of the month versus Vancouver, and it was kind of like a layup, I'm going to call it a FIFA goal. I would assume Mikey knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. You break down the wing and you just pass it across the face of goal, and it's a nice little tap in.
Just a nice tap in. Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. LAFC looked a little disorganized for me defensively. Obviously, it's the international break. All these teams are missing players. However, I believe there has to be a better fill-in at center back than Sanchez, than Ile Sanchez. Obviously, a great player, very smart, very talented player, but I'm just not sure center back is his position.
Yeah, I'd just add, just to add to what Cody was saying about since the Champions League final, I just feel like they need like a week off. Like mentally they're drained. I feel like every game they're in, they're kind of like just like sinking. I feel like they're all tired. They're all mentally exhausted. When you go through the whole Champions League process, and it's a grind. And then to end up in the final and losing, like, it's going to weigh on you for a little while, But I think they need this break, and then I think they'll be fine after the break. But they need to get away from the game for a minute.
Yeah, I would agree. It's taxing mentally and emotionally.
Yeah. Well, they've got a week off. Next round of matches until July 1st, so they'll at least get a classic week in between. LAFC sitting tied, in second, but tied on points with St. Louis City SC, who have done well. Again, though, there's that Western kind of sliding curve where they're not anywhere near kind of the Eastern points leaders, but LAFC have definitely had to juggle a lot more. They're still a solid squad. They're staying in there. They're 9-4-5 with 9 wins, 4 losses, 5 draws. Plus 9 goal difference. I think that's a good way to put it, though, gentlemen, is it's a little bit of a slide, right, from this squad, and the fatigue will build up. It'll be interesting to see how they maybe do take or not take the upcoming tournament in the middle of the season, right? Or if they just kind of chill and use it as a break to rest players. It's all brand new. We don't know what to expect from these teams when we get into the break. But Vancouver, quite the opposite, right? As we've looked at them, they're in 9th. They're just above the waterline. They up, down, a bit of a roller coaster team. They're good at home. They're pretty bad on the road. So that's probably why it's even bigger surprise here. But anytime you can score 3 goals in MLS, it's a good day out. Yeah,
I would agree. For me, it's a dream start for Vancouver because I know how difficult it is to play in that stadium in front of the 3-2-5-2. And I just, like you said, Vancouver last year at this time of the season was dead last. And I think we had won 1 game in our first 9 or 10. I mean, we were awful at the start of last year, and we found a groove. And I think that Vancouver right now is starting to find that groove. They're picking up a point here on the road, picking up 3 points at home. They beat LAFC in LA. And this goes back to the conversation that you and I just had, Mikey, about DPs. Ryan Gauld is, Mr. Versatile right now. Has played the 10, has played the 7, has played the 11, and started this game at the 3. So, he played left wing back and got a goal and 2 assists.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that just showed that his mentality is a little bit different than other people's mentality, and you can tell that the rest of the team is feeding off of that energy. And yeah, Vancouver's looking better than I think I've seen them in a while. And I think that game could be a good little point in the season where they could take off from that and use that to build.
I agree. It goes a long way when the club has offloaded certain players, and this is speaking from personal experience with the club and the players in that locker room. They offloaded some guys that didn't want to be there. They did their homework on DPs such as Ryan Gauld and Andreas Kubas, who is an absolute dog in the midfield. Does a lot of work that goes under the radar that a lot of people do not see and appreciate. And, then you get guys like Brian White firing on all cylinders. You get homegrowns like Simon Betcher firing on all cylinders. And like you said, this could be a game in which they look back at and realize was the incline, the jump start for the rest of their season.
Well, I tell you what, gentlemen, wherever Vancouver goes, we will track because obviously the close affiliation we have. But we got more, right? What about Oh, I just closed this one. Son of a gun. DC versus Cincinnati. DC 3, Cincy nothing to show on this one. Unfortunately, only a second caution to Murphy to get sent off. Pedro Santos, Williams, and Dahome all getting the goals in the first half. Tell you what, Wayne Rooney's DC United to you, gentlemen. What is he cooking up with this squad? I've been watching very keenly. They are also in 9th in the Eastern, just staying above that watermark. But I think this is more impressive that Cincy gets shut out, even though they're on the road.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Obviously, DC comes out and stuns FCC with 3 first-half goals, and I think they stun the league by beating the league leaders and ending their 10-game unbeaten run. That said, again, it's the international break. There are a lot of guys that are missing from FC Cincinnati. I think 4 big names. Vasquez, Miazga, Moreno, and Mosquera were all the way on international duty.
Yeah, I think this is a classic MLS game where you're missing some guys, and then a team that shouldn't destroy a team just did. Like these types of games just happen sometimes.
Yeah.
And there's no real, I don't think cause for alarm for Cincinnati. I think they're flying. I think they just file this one away, and they keep scoring goals and destroying the league like they've been doing.
Yeah, they just have to keep plugging along. And even, Pat Noonan, the head coach, said that these are mistakes that we haven't made since I took over, essentially. We turn the ball over in a poor position. We give away a set piece goal that we give away a free header on a set piece, and the second phase kills us. These are mistakes. These are mistakes that we just don't generally make, and it put them on the back foot. And I don't think they're used to being there. And it was one of those things where when you're in that position, you give away 3 goals in the first half. It is a grind.
Yeah.
You go into that locker room, Mikey, and you are beat.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna call my boy out here, but whenever you're missing your striker, Brandon, it's a big blow to your team.
Yeah.
In this league, when you don't have your striker, it's gonna be tough to because
Agreed.
I think everything in this league builds through the striker, and when you have that guy, it's the presence that's you're one of your main goal scorers, one of your main threats in behind. It just helps everybody else to play better, and I think when they don't have him out there, it's a big blow. And also they had one of their center backs missing. So when you have part of that spine missing from your team in this league, it's going to be tough,
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. Obviously, Brandon has proven himself as an integral part of their offense and an integral part of their team. And when you miss him, when you miss your hold up 9, because that's what, for them, obviously he holds the ball up, he releases a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And when you miss that, it's tough, because Lucho Acosta playing the 9 or a false 9,
totally
as talented of a player as he is, it's a very, very different thing. So,
and he plays with so much more joy when he has that freedom running around Brandon. He's not comfortable up there being a 9,
No, I would agree.
Brenner's out as well, remember, as he's getting ready to go to Serie A. Again, just don't think we're going to be seeing him anytime soon.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else from this one? Like I said, I think you guys gave it really good context. We'll have to see how these teams bounce back. Again, having to kind of figure out, navigate these waters. Every team is battling losing players, but Cincy losing that many, that's significant. That definitely changes up what they're trying to do.
I will give a little shout out to, Benteke is just a freaking monster, you know.
Oh, dude, this guy, yeah.
Do you see his flick when like it snuck on the defender's leg and then the defender tracked back and he just did a little like chop and popped it over the defenders. He came back and then played a ball out to the channel. He's got so much confidence, Mikey. He is loving life right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch that, and I hope Rooney does something well with the team this year. I hope they have a decent rest of the season.
Yeah. Well, he did say after this game, Mikey, he was quoted saying that he believes DC can beat any team in the league if they are able to imitate that first half performance.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty strong statement, but I think they have
high bar.
They have the talent, and they're rumored to be signing Gylfi Sigurdsson as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, you add that, and it's a whole different ball game. Mm-hmm. He's a very talented player, and imagine him and Benteke playing there together.
Yeah, jeez.
That'd
be fun to watch.
It would be
not fun to play against, but fun to watch.
No, definitely not.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break to shout out another sponsor, one of Cody's. We've got No Cow.
Yeah, No Cow. These are actually No Cow dipped. This is by far my favorite flavor. If you haven't tried them, try them. Big chocolate peanut butter guy right here. So the chocolate peanut butter cup bars are fantastic. Dairy free. 20 grams of plant protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs. They are by far one of my favorite midday snacks, and I actually had one just before the podcast started. So there you go. Go and get yours today.
Love it. Again, with the healthy snacks, high protein. That is the theme with Cody and food. Protein, protein, protein.
Protein.
Love to see it. All right. The next one up, and the last one we have from the MLS side before we get into the U.S. men's national team is Real Salt Lake 2, Minnesota 2. They're playing at RSL Musovsky in the 79th and Glad in the 90th +8 back to stoppage, super stoppage time goals. Love to see it. Asani Dotson, 27th minute, and Reynoso, who in the 39th minute.
Reynoso is back.
El Rey hath returned. Is this his first match this season? I know
it's his first start. First start and
159 minutes played, 1 start. To your point, so I guess it didn't take him long to get back to fitness. Mikey, you ever been out and like missed 2 months of a season, then had to jump back in? I can't imagine he's fully fit yet, but they're giving it a run.
Yeah, I did my knee back in 2019, so I missed a good chunk of that first part, and just getting back to that fitness, that confidence takes a minute. But he's hungry to get out there, so he's chomping at the bit. He's probably put in so many hours in the training room, getting ready as ready as they can make him. And he's out there, he's balling, so they did it right.
Yeah. I would agree. And Adrian Heath in the post-match presser, he was very, very complimentary of Ray and said every time he got the ball, he created something. Every time he got in space, he looked like he would find the pass. I thought some of his touches and movements are what we are as we expect from Ray, and we have to do better. So saying that I guess all the other pieces around Reynoso were not doing so well in this one, and that Ray was maybe a little bit of a standout. And I think that speaks volumes to kind of where he's at physically. And because as you said, Brandon, it's very difficult to miss 2 months of a season and then come back and be the player that you were, or the player that you're capable of being. So I think that goes to your point, Mikey. I'm sure he's put in the hours on and off the field to kind of get himself into the position that he's in.
Goal and assist is good on the stat line. I tell you what, though, his goal was a tap in with McMath kind of flailing at the cross, just not being able to get there. Actually, rough day for McMath, dropping both crosses. Yeah.
I think, this is harsh, but it's a fact, and I think Zach would admit this. But 2 goalkeeping mistakes kind of cost RSL in this one. So.
Hey, what about Clint Irwin in the 90th +2, taking a caution for time wasting? Didn't matter. 90th +8, Jay Glad getting the equalizer. Breakaway. Minnesota just forgetting what's going on. Mikey, they were looking around and got caught right at the end of the game. There's nothing worse as a defender, is there?
No, nothing worse, but also no better feeling than getting that late goal for the other team.
Yeah. I was gonna say the same thing.
And the 99th minute.
Got 90 +8. Yeah.
You're like, why is the ref not blowing the whistle? But thank God.
Yeah. I mean, if you're RSL, you're going, okay, one more chance. You're Minnesota, you're going, ref, blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle.
It's been 15 minutes, not 8.
But devastating for those center backs and that keeper for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they did themselves any favors in the final few minutes. As a defender, Mikey, I think you can attest to this, but when one ball beats you over the top, it's very difficult to look back at. It's very difficult to look back at and go, wow, that was a good goal, because one long ball beats 4 players and Musovski is through on goal 1v1.
Yeah. Especially
brilliant ball. Just for the record, that ball was perfectly weighted.
Yeah. But when you've grinded for 99 minutes and you're going to let that take away your points, that's devastating. And I think you got to obviously cover each other's backs better. You grind out the last 30 seconds of the game and just pretty much keep it compact and just don't let anything in behind or through you at that point. Like, you just keep everything away. And I think they just got tired and fell asleep in that moment,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and that was the one that gave them hope, right? And then the second one, they just got everyone forward. They play a big reverse ball to the back post. No one's there. He kind of chops his cross and takes that weird hop over, and it just falls to the Real Salt Lake attacker in the box to Glad, and he put his foot through it. It was a fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's
finish.
the second phase of a set piece because Glad's the center back.
Yeah. I've been saying that. They'd lumped everyone forward, right? And they did just get a little bit lucky, fell to him. But you see all the Minnesota United defenders just fall down a little bit upset and frustrated, that one.
For sure. And it's par for the course right now for Minnesota because they are 6 winless.
Oof. And they were the longest undefeated at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. And now they are 6 without a win. I think their last win was Portland in the middle of May.
Yep.
Something like that. And it's like, at some stage, you guys got to dig yourselves out of this hole. It doesn't come down to the coaching. It doesn't come down to the tactics. What it comes down to is the players on the field grinding out 10 minutes because you're up 2-0. There's no reason that you guys should be giving 2 goals away. That's on the player personnel.
And that in my opinion, it comes down that the last 10 minutes of the game comes down to the leaders on the field. And maybe that speaks to maybe they're having a little bit lack of leadership out there.
Yeah. Maybe. Or maybe their leaders are away on international duty.
Boxy's there.
Boxy's there. Yeah. Boxy's there, but Dane's not there. So, obviously Clint Irwin's, but Clint's a veteran. So this team is built around veterans. And I think to Mikey's point, the final 10 minutes, those are the players you want on the field. Those are the guys that you want in the trenches with
especially taking that one goal. All right. At that point, you're speaking up, you're locking it, you're locking it down. You're saying we are not getting beat.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold it down for 5 minutes, and nobody's touching our goal.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't matter how you don't concede, because if you walk off the field and every ball you touched for the last 15 minutes ended up in row Z, Adrian Heath's not going to say a word because you walk off the field with 3 points.
Exactly. Yep.
So.
Yep.
Well, while Minnesota is dropping to the bottom of the lake, Minnesota reference, Real Salt Lake doing quite the opposite as they are on a good run. They are actually up to 6th in the Western Conference on 27 points, level with Houston that are in 4th and San Jose that are in 5th, 2 points off Seattle. So granted, they played all 20 matches, whereas, the St. Louis, LAFC and Houston have games in hand. They've been in a good run. Reminder, Real Salt Lake had a bad start to the campaign. But they've been on a good run. I actually think they're unbeaten in their last 5. They lost to Galaxy at the end of May, which wasn't great. But other than that, they've made themselves tough to beat. So they beat Austin, they drew New York City FC, they beat DC United, and they beat St. Louis City SC before drawing with Minnesota United. So again, the MLS twists my brain up, Mikey. I am new to this league, and there's no consistency. There's the utmost parity because anybody can beat anybody. And Real Salt Lake went from not knowing how to play football in the beginning part of the season to looking like a cohesive unit. I don't know if they've really made any changes, but it's just like impressive that the team can, to Cody's point, while Minnesota needs to rally and pull themselves out, Real Salt Lake have absolutely done that now.
Yeah, I mean, that describes MLS right there. It's a league of streaks. So you can be horrible the whole first half of the season, and then if you pull it together and you rally the troops and you go on a little run, then you have a good chance. I mean, when I played with Atlanta in 2019, we had a horrible first half of the season, horrible, and I think we're bottom of the table. Guys were starting to get a little bit like the belief was totally gone. And then we just rallied together as a locker room and we said, we're going to play the way we played last year. We won the cup last year. We have almost a similar team as we did last year. We're going to rally the troops and we're going to start winning some games. And we went on a streak and went all the way to the Eastern Conference final. I mean, that's just how this league is. Like, anybody can beat anybody. Anybody can go on a streak at any moment, and it makes it a fun league as a fan. It makes it a fun league to watch because you don't ever know what's going to happen.
It's chaos. It's chaos and carnage every single week. Someone's getting absolutely pounded, and we didn't even talk about them in this week. I don't know if you guys know. We tried to gloss over some of these results because it was too much. It was just too funny for me. I couldn't handle it.
It's like Atlanta got beat 4-0.
Whoa, I was gonna say it. Mikey's right there, bro.
He knows. He might have even been there. No, he was. You were in Florida for work.
Yeah, it was 4-0 pounding though. That was not a good one. But they were also missing quite a few guys as well.
They were. And you want to talk about spine? You're missing Miles Robinson, no?
Yeah, you're missing.
I like him. I like the look of him in the U.S. men's national team.
Very good player.
Yeah. He's so unfortunate, his injury. I mean, I think he would be in Europe right now, killing it.
I think so too.
Yeah, but I think he's still young. I think he still, if he wants, could possibly still make that jump. But
yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see if he wants to or not.
Yeah.
Well, good bridge to the U.S. men's national team. We wrapped up Nations League, U.S. dominating it, cakewalking Mexico and Canada. Adios, au revoir, our amigos. Anyways, Gold Cup has started.
It has.
Talk about roster in, roster out, sweeping changes, as my buddy called it, Youth SA. taking the field. BJ still in charge. BJ for president at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, GGG. I am on the BJ train. 1-1, though, having to come back after Lowe scored for Jamaica. Vasquez, who we talked about earlier, scoring the 88th. Way to be aware, in a good position, took his goal nicely. I'm not going to lie, gentlemen. I didn't really recognize our lineup.
A lot of MLS guys, but a lot of very talented young players. And I think that you could see that there was a lot of inexperience in this game in comparison to the team that played in the Nations League. That said, they were able to rally, they were able to persevere, and they got a result. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
You text Dewan? See what he thought about it? He was on the roster.
I did not text Dewan. No.
Peep him, see what's up. Do you want to talk about the Turner thing, or should I just sweep that?
I mean, sure. I'm not going to bring it up, but if you want to discuss it, sure. I think
I'm asking if you.
I just don't. I don't think he's your captain. That's all I think. I think you have Aaron Long on the field. Who were some of the other? Who were the other?
Yedlin is the other one that you threw out there.
That I threw out there. I mean, but obviously BJ and GB think that he's the guy, and he's obviously taken the reins as the number one, which for me is tough because I believe Zach is a very talented and very, very promising young goalkeeper for the United States. However, Matt is playing well and doing well with the U.S. And I mean, I think Zach right now is coming back from a surgery. That said, it's going to be a good battle for years to come to watch these two go head to head and see who wins. It's going to be very, Friedel, Keller, Howard, Guzan, that kind of battle.
Yeah, I think they're both excellent keepers. Obviously Matt has played really well recently and great shot stopper. But Zach might be a little bit better with his feet. I think it just depends. I think it depends on what style we're going to play.
Couldn't agree more.
We're going to be a classic American team. I think Matt Turner is going to be the number one. If we're going to try to build out, play out possession, I think Zach for the future would be there.
Yep. I completely agree.
But both great keepers though, and great guys. So
yeah. Well, I couldn't agree more.
Tell you what, it was a young team, and it was good to see, Jesus Ferrer up top, Zendejas, Aiden Morrison getting in. I'm sorry, Aiden Morris, and then Jordan Morris on the wing, Miazga, as we talked about, and even, a good bench that was fun to see. What I was a little bit surprised about, I'm not going to lie, Jamaica.
They got some players.
Dual citizenship.
Yes.
Well, recruiting.
Yep.
And
3 or 4 English Jamaicans there, no?
Mikel Antonio up top with Leon Bailey. And obviously Mikel Antonio, I'm pretty sure, is featured for England at some point. But was
I
able
also
to
want to mention
switch.
the bigger name for me is Damari Gray.
Leicester. Or Everton,
Yep.
Sorry. Everton.
Yeah. I think those 3 players alone, I think that's a massive win for Jamaica because they have not had that firepower for many, many years.
Yeah, Jamaica looks promising. They could do some damage in the tournament and the future of CONCACAF.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm impressed. Like from the days, that we used to see them, I'm looking at the roster and almost everybody is at a minimum MLS, one's in the Wolves Academy just because he's a kid. but everyone is in like a team or a league that you would recognize. Maybe like Spartak Moscow is like the fringe one for Schmar Nicholson. But other than that, there's top 5 leagues in Jamaica. Yeah. And so the recruitment that they've done to make themselves a challenger in this league is really impressive. And they have some promising young talent. I know that from Chelsea alone, they've got Amari Hutchinson, a young, really shifty attacker up there. Chelsea just signed a 17, going to be 18-year-old who plays for the, their Phoenix New Old Boys or whatever it is there. And there's a pipeline of young talent coming through. So if they can hold on to some of these players and get them into Europe, and they're going to be a tough team for the next 10 years. And Mike, you got to have your eye on 2026, right? I mean, that is the big one on the continent. They're going to show up and I think make a run at it, especially if other teams are going to be a little bit shaky. We think this is probably one of the lowest quality sides of Mexico's had. Doesn't mean they can't reload and progress, but I'm going to keep an eye on them for sure.
Yeah, I think overall in general, CONCACAF is getting so much better. And I don't know if Mexico's doing that bad or everybody else is getting better. I mean, I think US has improved tremendously. Canada has improved tremendously. I think I've been saying Canada's going to be a force to reckon with going forward in the future. But Jamaica's coming out now. Like, I think CONCACAF is going to be a lot tougher for Mexico than it has been in the past.
I would agree 100%. And I wouldn't say that Mexico is per se doing badly. However, they do not have the firepower that they have had in the last 10 to 15 years, right? They moved on from that golden generation of Hector Herrera and, Chicharito and Carlos Vela. So now they are trying to figure out that new identity, similarly to where the U.S. was 5 years ago, or, in the, post 2018 World Cup, right?
I'll say it.
What?
They kind of suck. That's their problem to figure out, though. But
it is because it was our problem to figure out 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Absolutely.
And
because we also were not that great.
We got caught out.
Yeah,
we got caught out, unfortunately.
We did.
I'll tell you what, guys, I've enjoyed watching the U.S. men's national team. I had the phone out. We were barbecuing with some friends. I took legitimately 4 years off the men's national team. After that disaster of not qualifying, I was just so ashamed. And it was hard for me to just pay attention because there's nothing drawing me in. Obviously, we finally got through the qualifying, got to the World Cup, was super excited, got to watch a bunch of games at Brits with friends and things. But I'm plugged in again. They've got me. But the thing is, like, please don't lose me. Like, let's not botch this again. Cody, we had a longer episode in the last one, talk about the men's national team and the changes. So if you want to hear more about that, go check out that episode. But Mikey, I'm excited. In our group, just so we know, in CONCACAF Gold Cup, it's Group A with Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica, US, and St. Kitts and Nevis. We're playing St. Kitts and Nevis next on Wednesday. So, again, I'm not to be rude. I'd never even heard of them. So that's probably one of those ones where they're FIFA ranked number 139. We should expect to win, especially on home soil. But yeah.
There you go.
Anything else? Did I miss anything?
Nice,
Mikey?
easy hour. No, not from my perspective, Mikey.
No, I think you covered everything. We gave the week a nice recap for sure.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, the good news is there's so much to cover. We can't do it all, but that just means it's an exciting league with a lot going on. But hey, Mikey, good to have you on. Your links will be in the description below, so we're gonna make sure we send people your way. Links to No Cow as well in the description if you want to check it out. Cody's favorite chocolate dipped peanut butter bars, whatever they are. It's just protein coming out of his ears.
There you go.
Try those and try the goodles, right? Goodles.
The goodles, yes. Goodles. Top.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll be back. MLS Week 20 recap in the books. If you would, as always, just subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave the 5-star review to help other MLS U.S. Men's National Team fans find us as well. But anyways, we're going to be back next week. Maybe, probably not. It's actually 4th of July. Should we just call it now, Cody? We're going to take a week off.
Yeah, probably.
All right. We're going to take a week off. We'll be back after the holiday weekend. Enjoy it. All of you MLS fans, there are matches. We'll be back. See ya.